So let me put it this way, Magnus. A lot of times, people going through mental issues don't even realize they're going through them until it's difficult.
Yeah.
Until we start seeing them behaving abnormally.
Yeah.
And probably, what are some of those early warning signs that really I am going through a rough patch, greater than I can handle, and one that requires someone to walk with me?
Aha. Glad that you say it, because this is something that I've tried to tell men so many times. Number one is alcoholism. If you're deep in alcoholism, you're not drinking for social, just to be able to enjoy socially. That we can just have a drink.
Yeah.
You're
So the
drinking to
motivation is not
drown.
just social.
It's not social
Right.
anymore, because we are just catching up.
Right.
It's I want to hide something.
Right.
I want to get smashed so that I don't
Numb some pain somewhere.
numb some pain.
Right.
That is the first thing. Number two, anger.
Yeah.
Especially anger against just the world in general. And that's a big pointer.
Right.
Lack of sleep.
Right.
Insomnia.
Yep.
A lot of men struggle from insomnia and they don't know it.
Right.
And we call it working hard, but your body also needs sleep. Eh?
Right.
When you realize you can't get sleep, then just know there's a problem.
Something is not sitting right.
Something's not sitting right. Sex.
Right.
Sex addiction is terrible. A lot of men hide behind sex, because they can't handle things on the other side.
So they're having too much of it.
Too much of it.
Looking for it all over.
Looking for it all over.
Right.
Of course, that has its own sets of problems with STIs
Right.
and, and
Yeah.
whatever. And entanglement of, all sorts and all kinds. And that's why it's you find men, moving from one relationship to another, even if they're married, and just jumping from this to that to the other, just to be able to fulfill something that is, they don't know what it is, but they're just jumping from one. And it's no longer about just, your hormones or whatever raging, your testosterone has gone up. It is something that you're trying to hide, okay? Those are the key things that I would say are the biggest. And Dennis, let's be honest, all those things I've talked about, we see them every day in our friends, in our relatives, in people who we know, colleagues, everywhere. Someone's, alcoholism, someone's hiding something. I'm talking about the men, someone's on okay, and they've also gone quiet. They no longer have, they used to play golf, or they used to, like watching football, or they used to like doing something specific, a hobby, or even hanging out with you guys. And all of a sudden, they just pull out, okay? And you wonder, what's up with this guy? He doesn't hang out with us anymore. He doesn't talk. Even when he's with us, he doesn't have that lively, bubbly spirit. Or he's, almost, what I would say, disillusioned. Disillusioned about life. Some of these things are there. We see them. They're open. But because as men, we are not sensitive to them, we just pat each other on the back. Itakuwa sawa, it'll be okay.
One more drink on my account.
Yeah, one more drink on my account. That time you're telling the guy that guy doesn't have food in the house. You're buying him a drink, but doesn't have food. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Or the house is being closed.
Or the house is being closed.
Right.
I experienced that myself. People want to buy you a drink, but you don't have money for food. So you're wondering, okay, I'll drink, but I don't have food.
Then after that, what? but I think those pointers are also good, because they're also living within environments, and people around those environments, as they start to notice some of those things, then probably it's a good trigger that maybe we need some help here before it goes too south.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, having then picked those things up, help men, again, back to that socialization, strong men. We don't speak. And the next thing is that I realize, yes, those things that you've mentioned, yes, I can see them, but I'm not sure that I am able to speak out.
Yeah.
And maybe it's painting the cost of then not speaking out. That then you then weigh in and say, the cost of not speaking looks this heavy. Therefore, it's important for you to speak out. How do you help them to just speak it out, man?
Number one, like safe space. I've said this before in another show, and I'll say it again. Men should not speak to women about their issues.
And that's not a chauvinistic statement.
It's not.
Right.
It's just the truth.
Right.
Do not do it with women. Just don't. Yeah, because you won't, I don't think you'll find a solution there. In fact, probability is that you will regret it more than anything else. Look for a safe space. If you're having a serious issue, I would say the number one choice, if you have the ability, talk to a medical professional.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space. Now, and why I say, now I'll remove the gender from the medical profession, because a doctor, a lady who's a doctor, is a medical profession. So you can speak to them.
Right.
And they have a way probably that they will deal with it from a medical perspective,
Right.
not from a gender issue.
Right.
Okay? So
Right.
that's why I say don't speak to women
Right.
specifically.
Right.
But I'm very open about it. You
Right.
can speak to a medical professional. But
Right.
I would rather still, either way, as a man, speak to a man who's a medical professional, in the medical profession. If you can't find a man, that's fine.
At least be in the professional space.
Be in the professional
Talk to a
space,
professional.
number one. Number
Right,
two,
right.
for those who really, go to church or are in spaces where, you can, in faith spaces, go to your leader in this faith space, go to your pastor, go to your imam, go to your priest, and speak to them about
Your
it.
spiritual leader.
Your spiritual leader. Do that. That's very important. If you don't have those spaces, look for an older uncle. Uncle, you might be hard to speak to your father. If your father is alive, good. If not, for a mentor. So someone who's older than you who would listen to you. And someone who, I think this is a tricky one, because you might speak to someone who's older, but then they'll tell you, "Wewe ni mwanaume, ni nini? Amka,
Kazana.
get up, kazana," and then they've not helped you.
Right.
But you need to speak to someone now who understands it from that perspective. So it's really up to you to make a decision who is closer to you in that area. Okay. For me, I would say probably I would choose an uncle. I would choose my brother. I would choose a mentor.
Right.
I have a couple of friends. I would say older men who are friends and they're mentors. I can reach out, pick up the phone and call them.
Right.
And I encourage every single man right now, where they are in their life, get to make friends with an older man. Could be a stranger, could be in the corporate space, could be whatever space, who is a man of integrity, number one. Okay. I'm not saying they're without faults, but an older man who's a man of wisdom, who brings wisdom into your life, whichever area. It could be career, it could be finances, it could be a relationship, and reach out to them. Very important. I have a couple of them, and during this time I was able to reach out, and they gave me some very important nuggets in life. So those are the safe spaces for men that are available. Okay?
And I think it's also a challenge for all of us, therefore, to become also some of those safe spaces.
Now that's
Because
where
then there must be some younger guys who are looking to me, and I must become a safe space to some of those guys.
Exactly.
And we build some
Exactly.
lots of safe spaces, as you may.
Exactly. And for men, we must be able to do hard things. We must. When we grow older, we must be able to do meaningful things in our lives beyond going out to hustle, looking for money, building, career, finances, making sure my bank account, my kids are okay, my wife is okay, my stuff. We must be able to give back to society,
Invest in others.
and invest in others.
Right.
When I remember, I think I was lucky growing in my career life, growing 20s, 30s. I was lucky because I had bosses, men, who were father figures to me, and are still father figures today. I'll reach out to them and we'll talk. A lot of younger men now don't have that, okay? And by a father figure, I don't mean someone who's going to baby you. None of them baby me. Absolutely none.
Right.
They were very hard on me.
Right.
But hard, I mean from a fatherly perspective.
Right.
All right? They're not mean and nasty, but hard from a fatherly perspective, and understood when to say, okay, come here now. I know I've told you, hey, this and this and this, I know it's hard, but this is what I want you to understand. And they would make you see life like this, tell you the truth, harsh truth, and then they would bring you close to understand why they're telling you this. They won't leave you hanging.
Right.
That this is how life is, and then they walk away.
Right.
So this is why life is like. Then they say, this is how you do this to get to this,
Right.
so that you can understand why this is like this.
Absolutely.
So it's upon us,
to become those guys.
to become those guys.
We must become those
because
guys.
there are 20-year-olds behind us.
Absolutely.
Right now, I see them.
Yep.
I'll give you an example. You see these guys. You look at guys going to Naivasha every day. Now, hey, Vashas,
It's Vasha nowadays, man.
it's great, man. It's great.
Right.
We all did those things.
Right.
But it gets to a point where you say, these guys are just wasting their lives. Maze kila sherehe tu, yani it's just sherehes. You're not taking care of your career, you're not investing money, you're not investing in yourself.
Yep.
It's all about life and women and drink.
Yep.
And I look back and say, these guys are not being mentored well. I'm not saying don't have sherehe.
Yeah.
But if you are at that place where you're being mentored well,
Yep.
some of these things you'd understand are fleeting.
Yep.
They're very fleeting.
But Magnus, when I see this, isn't it also a sign of the fact that then fathers are not at home as well?
Of course.
Maybe we have chased everything else other than bringing up our own families.
Of course. Of course. The fathers, number one, are not there.
Yep.
The men have, a lot of them have absconded their duties.
Absolutely.
We straight up about it.
Right.
Absconded their duties, moved back into drinking and doing their own thing.
Which doesn't solve the problem.
Doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah. Sometimes I think we play avoidance rather than deal with the issues.
Exactly.
And maybe it's about time we then dealt with our issues. So that then we are also present to then raise these other guys.
Yeah. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
it's very hard when I started speaking out, because I was really bashed about it. When mwanaume mbona unaongea vitu ngumu ati you shouldn't say this as a man, kaza, swallow it, take it. I'm like, no, that's not how it is. Even in the olden society, when older men, I mean, we've seen this in other cultures, like the Maasais, for example, they do it a lot, where they'll take the younger men before they become warriors and they'll sit to them, the elders, and they'll take them through things.
The whole journey.
Yes,
Absolutely.
they'll take them through the whole journey. They won't let these young men become warriors without understanding why you're becoming a warrior, why you're going into that next age set and age group, and they will make sure you understand. But in our modern society, we tend to, every man for himself. That is the worst thing that we've ever done for men.
And unfortunately, as we say, every man for himself, even in the family setup, by you not being there, you've basically said to your children, you're on your own.
Yes.
And we've reduced ourselves to sponsors, just paying school fees.
Yeah.
But being a father is much more than paying school fees.
Yes, exactly.
And maybe, it will be a great call for all of us, really, as men.
Yeah.
We must come back and become real men at home, fathers at home, and raise this younger. And it's not just in your own house, but actually around also your community.
Yes.
So that then you can help raise others.
Better.
Because we've got to go to the root of the problem. I suspect.
Yes. There are many issues, but we can only deal with one at a time as men. And it's hard. And like I said, men are built to do hard things. We can't hide behind the fact that every man for himself. That's not hard. That's so easy.
Right.
That's absconding what we need to do.
Absolutely.
That's too, hard things means, and I took it upon myself. And I realized this will not go away and it'll keep haunting me if I don't share my journey so that I can help another man move from where he is to where he wants to be. And help him understand some of the things that he needs to set up for himself now so that he can be more meaningful in society when he's 40. This 20-year-old needs to understand what to set up now so they can be more meaningful. This 20-year-old needs to understand life can deal you a blow.
Right.
Now, how are you going to get out of that?
Right.
Okay?
Because the blow must not be the end of it.
The blow must not be
You
the
must
end.
rise up still.
Yeah. Life is not the way you've been packaged. It's been packaged, by the media and Hollywood. Life can get really hard. And the truth is no one cares about men. So we must start caring for ourselves because we know the journey without men, the world without men,
Absolutely.
won't work.
Absolutely.
So we must be able and sit back and say, what are we going to do? When we have those discussions, when we're having our social drink, what are we doing for the guys behind us?
Right.
What are you doing for the guys who you work with, who are younger, and you're seeing them always going sherehe vashas? It's time to sit them out and tell them, look, bro, come. Listen, I'm not telling you not to do these things.
But you've got to put this into context as well.
Do this.
And there's also this.
Yes,
and there's the other side of that.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
5 years from now, you don't know.
Right.
If things don't go the way you want them to go, if your career right now goes down to the drain, COVID has taught us so many things.
Yep.
It exposed so much
Right.
that everything you've built for so long can
Come fall down.
And then you have to start somewhere else, not in the same space that
Right.
you know.
Right.
Like you have to start somewhere where you don't know anything. And then you have to make it. Not with the same skills, but with different skills. So COVID has taught us that. Now imagine if we taught ourselves, or we were taught this, and we teach young men that this can happen. Today you can be a banker, and tomorrow you're told, hey, your career meisha, it's done, my friend.
Then what do
Now
you
you're
do?
going to construction. How will you deal with this, starting again from scratch, learning a new skill on how to kuwa mtu wa mjengo into moving into that? You know, how can we build resilient men
Yeah.
who can take care?
Right.
And remember, if men are not resilient, society crumbles.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We might start to say, you know, young independent women, come on, let's just forget about that. That's all rubbish. At the end of the day, if men and women don't have good support systems, we're just kidding ourselves. Yeah, we could have all this independent thing, which is great for the woman empowerment, but men, we've not done it. We must do it. We must accelerate it. Not just do it. We must accelerate it. We must take it as me and you upon ourselves and say, what can we do and give back to society so that other men, other young men can move and not
build
make
off
the
of it.
same mistakes.
Right.
And if they fall into the same problems I fell into, they can get out and run.
Right.
And they can pick other men and bring them forward also. And keep doing that generation to generation so that we can strengthen each other.
Fantastic.
If we do not do that,
Right.
we are failed nation, we are
Right.
failed state. And
Right.
that is where a lot of these things begin.
Right.
Marriages will never be healed if men are not strong enough. The nation will never be healed if we're never strong enough. The church will never be healed if we're never strong enough as men. So we must take it seriously. And
Right.
for me, I have it was thrown upon me.
Yep.
I didn't choose it.
Right.
It came
It
and I
chose you.
said, it chose me. And I said, this is the fate I've been dealt.
Right.
So I can either, you know, say, okay, I've learned from it and just keep quiet and move.
But you
or I can
decided to do
share
something
that
greater than that.
and do more than that.
Right.
And I've been to a place where I also don't have food to eat. After my ex-wife left, I didn't have food to eat. I never thought in my life I'd get to a place where I don't have something to eat. 4 days. And it's not a choice. It's not fasting. It's I don't have. You know, and right now I take it very seriously when a man tells me, missing a chakula. I don't have food. I'm like, okay, that's a big deal. You know, how do I get you out of this spot, or how do we help you get out of this spot so that tomorrow you can put something on the table, whatever it is, whatever you can, and then start building from there. Teach a man how to fish.
Don't
Teach
just
him.
give them fish.
Don't give him fish.
Right.
Teach him how to fish. Let him start building. When he learns, tell him bring others up. It's your responsibility. And as men, we must take responsibility for the failures that we've made. I've taken responsibility for the failures I've made. However, I must say, a lot of us have also not got to the point where we understand that it is a collective undoing that has got us in there. Male and female, both, that has got us there. Now, how do we get out of there?
Right.
And it starts with an individual thing. Take responsibility. Say, what can I do? And how can I do it consistently so that I can be able to help others move from this space?
Someone listening to you and saying, man, I am in that sport and I would benefit from this help. How do they get in touch with you?
Easy. Reach out to me on my Facebook. If you can't reach out, sometimes I see messages a while later. Just hit me up directly on the page, and then we'll go into the inbox.
What's the page?
Magnus MG.
Magnus
there's-
MG.
I have a page and I have a profile. So
Right.
both of them are Magnus MG.
Right.
I realize some people hit me up on the page and some people hit me up on the profile. Hit me up on the profile, in fact, on my personal profile. It's there. It's a public profile.
Right.
Reach out, say, hey, can we talk? And you know, I'll take it from there.
Right.
I will be able to help you. If you need medical help, I'll be able to help you and point you to the right people.
Correct.
Because I'm not a medical professional.
Right.
But I'll be able to help you to that next stage. Like I said, it's to help you to the next stage.
Right.
So if you need medical help, that's where I'll help you with.
Right.
If it's something else, probably it's a relationship and you're trying to figure out left and right as a man, I'll be able to give you hard relationship advice.
Yep.
Unpopular
Right.
relationship advice.
But the help you need nonetheless.
May I say, I tell guys this, I'll give you advice. It's not the advice you're looking for.
Right.
But I'll give you advice that will help you.
Right.
So choose whether you want that pill or not.
Right.
Red pill, blue pill. Remember the Matrix?
Got you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that someone is doing something about it. A lot of us will identify a problem. Not too many of us will want to be part of the solution. But I think we begin to change it when I see myself as part of the equation of solving the problem. Because it doesn't take genius to identify a problem. But I think it takes a different kind of a human being to say, nonetheless, here's how we solve the problem. And I want to be on the side of solution delivery. And I must honor you for it, man. I must honor you for it, man.
Thanks.
Folks, man, he's basically saying, don't die alone. There is help available.
Yes.
And all you need to do, just hit up, man. And indeed, the challenge is there. I hope we can find many more people that say, I want to be part of the solution. I can offer this help. Before we lose too many of us, man.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, I just see, right now, there's absolutely probably almost no support from the corporate side for men. Absolutely none. And I would like to tell men, I'd like to tell any corporates running things right now, running programs, please start thinking of that seriously as a way to be able to help men move to the next stage. Because stronger men build stronger societies, build stronger businesses, build stronger everything, right? Couple that with women, you know, and we are all going to rise up. All of us. It's for the benefit of entire society.
Become a better society.
It's not to be chauvinistic.
Right.
I'll say this because this is very key. I've been fought a lot by feminists because when you start empowering men, people start feeling, you know, like you're speaking too much for the man, and you know, women have been empowered so much so they can speak out and say some very nasty things. And I have bore the brunt of it. And I'd said at some point, you know, I'm going to let it go. But then I realized, you know, the men who are coming to me tell me the same thing. Whenever they try to speak up, you know, women really shut them down. And it's very unfortunate. I know it's not, I will not say feminists in general, but I'll say a lot of women have been a part of the problem. A part of the problem. I've experienced it myself. I would really like to see women who are not part of the problem, who are feminists. If that day comes, maybe the sun will shine. I don't know how. But I'm still waiting to see that. I have received a lot of hate texts, hate mail. It's mind-boggling.
But you know, sometimes, Magnus, we'll all have to agree, it's not a competition. It is appreciating that then on one side, maybe we have moved well, and we've got to bring these other sides too.
We must.
So that then the total becomes functional.
Exactly.
So this is not even a competition.
Exactly.
It is really applauding the ladies for all the wonderful work they do with the girl child.
Yes.
And also saying, as the men, maybe we are coming a little late, but nonetheless, we are coming on the table.
Yes.
And we'd also want to see our sons and younger men also equally empowered. It's not a competition. It's complementary.
Yes.
I would want to imagine that's what it is.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And I really hope that it can be seen as that.
Yep.
Corporates can start seeing the importance of well-being for men programs.
Right.
And start pushing it, because sometimes doing what I do is not easy.
But someone has got to do it.
Someone's going to do it.
Someone has got to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks, sir.
Man, allow me to appreciate you and really thank you and say, keep supporting our brothers. And I hope a few more then join the cause.
Yes.
And we all say, while we appreciate the wonderful work that the ladies have done, and maybe because they've been more present, we also as men want to make our contribution and also build a stronger male base as well. Because then with that, then the society in total gets to benefit. Well, folks, unfortunately, that's about all the time we had for today. And I hope that you've picked something out of today's conversation. Gold mines do go through challenges, but then the challenge must never be the end of the road, man. If you need to reach out, like my good friend Magnus talked about, man, reach out and get the help, my friend. It's just a bump. It's not the end of the road. It's probably a bend on your journey, but it's never the end of the road. And I want to encourage you to fight for the greatness that you are. If fighting means reaching out, then go ahead and do that. But you must always remember that help is on the way. You all need to do is just to reach out. And we keep reminding you on the Goldmine show that no matter how dusty it may have been, you still are a gold mine. If you're negotiating a corner, you still remain to be a gold mine, and you've got to fight until the greatness inside of you comes through all the way to the end. And therefore, man, until next time, I want to remind you, follow us on the Goldmine show on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on YouTube. Keep sharing the good work of what we do, and let's together build a great community that believes on the greatness that is on the inside of us, man. And until next time, thanks, Magnus, man, and God bless you. See you. Keep being the greatness that you truly are.